glad you're here. We're gonna have a good time. I have to tell you about what happened to me today. This guy came up to me in the grocery store. He was like 70 years old, right? He's like, hey, how about you and I go get some dinner sometime? Right? Still got it. Still got it. But I got so nervous and flustered because I didn't know how to tell him, like, I already have a dad. As much as I'd like to teach you how to use your iPhone, sir, I'm gonna save that for my own father, so. We did get ice cream and go throw the baseball, but we're gonna keep that under the hat. I've never really been the type of girl or woman to get hit on a lot, or if I ever did, I'd never know. I very much have like little sister energy. I have a lot of older brothers, and so you could be waving your genitals in front of me. And I would be like, oh my God, do you need help? Should I make you a sandwich? And not in like the good way, like, hey, you need help? And that was my sexy, right? Right there, didn't allow for many suitors as a high schooler. It's okay, I am married though now, so that's good. I've been married for 16 years. Oh, thank you. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We aren't totally sure about kids at this point, though we do have 3. They're actually out in my car right now, so I'm gonna have to kind of move this along. We all just got over COVID for the second time. First time we had it over Christmas, like a year and a half ago-ish, or 2 years ago, I guess. And it was such a weird time. Everyone was cooped up, and the kids were like, oh, what's Santa gonna bring us? I'm like, oh, he brought you COVID. Better luck next year. And it was so weird with those at-home tests, right? I'd be so nervous to take it, and then so relieved, like, yes, I'm not pregnant. Just one line, so. I was kind of worried about it, because I don't know if you remember at the time, in order to get an at-home test, you had to sleep with everybody at Rite Aid. It was a very busy December for me. Family of 5, so you do the math. And anybody interested, let's see, it's Wayne, I think his name was, Candy Aisle, West Seattle Rite Aid. Quite the minx. Quite the tomcat, that one, so you are welcome. So I don't want to flex, I'm not very braggy, but I do drive a 2010 Volkswagen Rutan minivan. Thank you. Yeah, it's a limited edition, which means they don't make them anymore. I think it's because of the recalls, but who has time to investigate that, I'm not Nancy Drew. I'm not Angela Lansbury. That was an age gauge, and I'm still perplexed. I don't know who I'm dealing with, but I like you, so that's good. The strangest thing, though, my minivan, it got broken into. And I was very confused by that because I don't know what you're after. Unless you're like jonesing for a Wiggles CD. Elmo teething biscuit, And this person, they go through my entire van, front to back, all the pockets, and they do not steal a thing. As if my taste in everything is so offensive. They can't steal a perfectly good child. I know, perplexing. I also got flipped off while I was driving my minivan. Weird, right? Thank you. On the freeway, my kids were in the car, and I don't know why. I'm the demographic of somebody who drives a minivan. I'm not your competition. I'm not racing you. I'm probably sitting on stale fruit leather. But I felt like it was so misplaced, you know? It's like telling, little old granny in the crosswalk with her walker to go to hell, you know? And Granny can't do one of these. She wants to, she's got it right here. She does, but I felt like that's how I felt. I felt trapped in the van and I couldn't do anything about it, so I get really full of rage, right? I go all mafia. It's like librarian mafia. Ish, I won't kill your family probably, but I won't give you the key to the bathroom. You really make me mad. You might wake up next to a copy of Black Beauty. Overdue, motherfuckers. I'm hardcore. Okay. Thank you for going with that. Thank you. Making me feel like a badass for two seconds. I have a child who's in middle school now, which is pretty, exciting. Are there parents in here? Yeah, some. Okay. Well, she came home the other day and she said, "Hey, Mom, guess what? I had sex ed today." Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay." She said, "Guess what my homework is?" I'm like, "I'm hoping math." That wasn't it. She told me what this homework was. She said the teacher took all the girls aside and told them in order to be comfortable with their anatomy, they should go home, yes, and explore their private parts. Gasp, right? I'm like, why are you telling how are they going to grade that? And do you think you could get some extra credit? Those grades are slipping a little. Yeah. You want to go to that fancy high school, you are going to have to dig deep. I did, I said it. Not proud of that. When I was in the 6th grade, my mom offered to teach my class sex ed. Yeah, she couldn't just, take us to the aquarium. And it was so weird. I mean, not just because she volunteered there, that's where she decided to insert herself. But my mom was a nun before she married my dad. Yeah, for real, like a real live Catholic nun. And they don't have sex. I don't know if you know that. But I feel like as a school, you have to vet your teachers, And for instance, okay, if I want to learn how to play guitar, I'm going to find a teacher that's played many different guitars. In lots of different venues. In tons of positions. Are you tracking? And if I want to learn about sex when I'm in the 6th grade, I would like to learn from somebody who is not sleeping with my dad. Okay. Fair enough. I have a kid also who is learning how to drive. Which is terrifying. She's failed the knowledge test 4 times now. Yeah, proud mom. But I know people look down on drinking and driving. I do know that. I just feel like if I drink while she drives, far more palatable experience. And it's very nice to have a driver because I can now blame her for all the little nicks and dings she puts on my husband's car. He'll go, "Cara, what happened here?" and I'll say, your daughter. He'll say, oh, well, I'll talk to her. And I'll say, and ruin her confidence? No. Brilliant, right? This kid wants to go, the same kid who's learning how to drive, she also wants to go to New Orleans to build houses for charity. Sweet, right? Really nice. I've never seen her build a sandwich that didn't fall apart in a hearty way. I'm wondering if I should maybe alert someone. I don't know. It's funny though, the kids, they grow up very fast. 1 second they're watching Sesame Street, and next second they're, singing Back That Ass Up on the way to school, so real joy. We're finished having kids. We are done. Kitchen closed. We can rummage around in the kitchen, but we're just not producing wares. Again, what is this? Why? Is that my sexy? That's my okay. I loved the whole process, though. I loved kind of the ultrasounds in particular when you're pregnant, or when I was pregnant. You could just see everything. It was so specific, I did have a scare with my third kid. I was in the room with the tech, and she's like, okay, there's the heart, there are the 4 chambers. Ooh, uh-oh. I go, what, uh-oh? You don't say uh-oh at an ultrasound. What's the problem? She goes, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but your kid's gonna be Republican. I'm like, no, I use mass transit. I compost, so my prenatals, they're sourced locally, so I slept with a woman, goddammit, no. No, I use natural deodorant. Yeah, I understand it doesn't work. Proves my commitment further. Is this about the O'Reilly book I read? Because I lost a bet. Can you give it something? A shot of kombucha? Chia seeds? Anything? She couldn't. She was so sweet, though. She did try. She did. She put some rose quartz on my stomach. Very nice. Put some black onyx up my ass. That just really created a positive gut environment, though, a wealthy microbiome for the scientists. He's still Republican, is what I'm saying. So cute, though. He's always like running around in his little sports coats and so cute. Pushing along his little agenda. Cute little guy. Sometimes I find myself getting a little aggressive with him. My older 2 are girls, and sometimes, he'll say something like, hey, Mom, next waffle's mine. I'm like, oh, why? 'Cause you're a boy? He's like, no, it's my turn. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's always your turn, isn't it, Whitey? Too much? A little bit? I think you should be honest with kids. My mom was always very honest with us. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and she'll say this, and it's always around my birthday. She'll be like, oh, boy, we did not want you. And then she'll backpedal. She'll be like, we're glad we have you now, but oh, we were mad? And I just feel like some things are better left unsaid. I'm not going to tell my second daughter that she came out looking like Steve Buscemi. I'm not going to tell her we returned the picture frames or canceled the in-hospital photographing session. I'm not going to do that. You guys, and she was born in LA. It's one thing to be born in Seattle looking like Quasimodo. In LA, it's a crime. Yeah, they make you leave. It was an abrupt departure for my family. And I know people don't, like me talking like that, but she's grown out of it. She's got this beautiful, personality. So we're fine. The doctor just told me she's going to be 6 feet tall, and I was like, oh my God, I should totally be nicer. She's going to kick my ass. I'm from Seattle. I lived in LA for a number of years, and I moved back, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago or something. And do you guys like Seattle? And like the people? Yeah. Oh, see? Oh, there's always one. It's fantastic. No, you don't. In the back. You don't. Okay. That's okay. Way to speak up. Way to speak. I for a second I thought maybe I was in Pasco, but I'm good. I'm safe. They ran me out of there. That was they smelled the liberal on me. Get out of our town. But when I moved back, I had forgotten how kind of great the people were. They've kind of gotten a little more mean, I feel like, but they're still so motivated, like those clipboarders, outside the PCC, in the Whole Foods, Oh, they're gonna save those whales. They're gonna do it. They're gonna sit in trees for a few years so they don't get cut down. But they will not put a brush through their hair. They have not accepted hygiene, not a sellout. Soap is not Republican. Think globally, just clean locally. I did something out of Seattle character recently. I did some grooming of sorts. By grooming, I mean cleaning, of myself. Somebody asked me or told me the other night, there are 2 meanings for grooming. And I was like, no, oh, yes there is. Okay, so what I mean is I had a bikini wax. Thank you. Okay, so I imagine some of you may have had a bikini wax in this room. Yeah, okay, 2. Very Seattle. Very Seattle. Screw it. Go native. I get it. I get it. That's great. No, but they're so uncomfortable, and it's very vulnerable. It's just all around not a good time, to get these waxes. But what made my situation a little worse was as soon as the esthetician started the bikini wax, she felt like a good pick of music would be Sade. I just feel like nothing says find somebody new to rub hot wax next to your vagina like Sade's Smooth Operator. It's ill-appropriate. It's a very faulty choice of song, you guys. It's like playing Marvin Gaye at the gynecologist. Not okay. Not good. Is anybody in here doctor averse? Anybody afraid of doctors in here? Is anybody a doctor in here? Does anyone know how to spell the word doctor? Okay, well, I'm afraid of doctors. I'm afraid of all kinds of doctors. I'm always afraid they're gonna tell me something bad or something scary that I don't wanna hear. So I find myself getting aggressive sometimes with them. I had this incident with the optometrist recently. He said, hey, Cara, I think that you might have glaucoma. And I was like, I think you have lice. He's like, you seem agitated. I said, you seem fat. He's like, you're being rude. I said, so is your breath. So he started to cry, right? And I'm like, oh, who has dry eye now, bitch? Still me, actually. Can I have some drops? Okay, that didn't really happen, you guys, but I just wish it did. And I don't have glaucoma, which is good news, right? That's good news, because I'm not 1,000, so that's okay. I also was at the gynecologist the other day, and I'm hoping many are eating. But I really don't like those annual exams. They're just, I just don't like them. But what happened was my doctor suggested, and I did not know this actually existed, she suggested I get physical therapy for the general area here because I'm a bit flinchy when it comes to the ladies' exams. It's really weird if you're not. You know, what does that look like? Nice gloves. Get in there, you little Viking. Want some trail mix? I don't know, but what bothered me about it was that she didn't know my birthing history, which includes having a 9-pound baby too quickly for an epidural, which hurts, right? And I know Washingtonians, or Seattleites, very natural, as we discussed. In Ballard, they have their babies in the bathtubs, right? Vashon Island, they have their babies in the woods. In Bellevue, they have them in their Mercedes SUVs. And that's great, it is, but I just prefer a little wedge, a little buffer between myself and pain. I liken my area to a battered animal. And anything unfamiliar comes close and it retreats in fear because it has PTSD. And it does not need physical therapy, it needs talk therapy. Perhaps a shoulder to cry on, so. Yeah, that tracks. Okay, good. Oh, I wanted to ask. Okay, do I have time? Are there millennials in here? Yes, yay. Okay, good. God, no one likes you. I do. I find it really unfair, I do, but I'll tell you why they don't like you. It's only because you were loved, No one gave a shit about the older generations. There was no fruit in my lunch. There were no parameters around my Oreo intake. My mom wasn't gonna stop drinking and smoking because she was pregnant. I had the same haircut as my brothers my entire childhood. She'd put me in a swivel chair and give it a spin and just hold up a blade while watching the General Hospital, and then they'd try to fancy up the haircut, calling it the Dorothy Hamill. Okay, somebody knows her. She was an ice skater, and I found out Dorothy Hamill's hairdresser fucking hated her. She shouldn't have been wearing that haircut, And God, like, millennials, Gen Xers had these cartoons. I don't know, maybe millennials watch them too, but I grew up on cartoons like Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny, where the entire premise was just all the characters trying to kill each other, often with dynamite. And millennials had Barney, which is why you're so well adjusted and so able to say, I love you, often through song. And millennial parents of millennials, implemented the helmets. They wanted to protect the kids' brains, What a thought. That's amazing. Gen X parents, you know what they really stood by? You cannot go in that pool for 30 minutes. You just had a snack. So we'd be sitting outside the pool, our skin getting scorched off, because nobody put sunscreen on us. And the pinnacle is the Halloween costume. Like the millennial Halloween costumes. Oh, I had neighbors who were younger than me. Oh, they were so beautiful, like the actual Dorothy slippers and, so cool. And my mom brought home on Halloween night, which is really the first red flag, that's ill-prepared. But she brought home a sad clown costume from the Bartell's reject bin, and I knew it was from the reject bin because it was aggressively balled up and fucking shoved back into that pouch as if someone was like, I don't want to be a sad clown, Maybe they didn't like the one size fits nobody mask or the plastic. Okay, what I'm saying, you guys, is nothing says Gen X fourth kid that got past the birth control like sad clown. Do we see? Okay, I gotta get out of here in a second. I'm gonna leave you with this. The sex changes a little bit after a number of years of marriage. It does, yeah, not bad, truly. Just a little different, you know? There was a time like when we would have candles and music and wine. I don't need any of that anymore. All I need now is that sweet, sweet sound of my husband's CPAP machine coming off his face. You guys have been so lovely. Thank you so much.